Hi, hello everyone. My name is Ju. Hope you all are doing well. In this video, we'll be discussing questions very similar to Azure AI-102 certification. We'll walk through the question, discuss each and every options in detail, and figure out the correct answer. So if you're preparing for AI-102 certification, feel free to watch the videos in this series. Now, a basic knowledge of Azure AI services will be helpful for you to understand these questions better. Now, the link to the training which I watched to prepare for the certification will be given in the description box below. This training was very helpful for me and it helped me to pass the exam in the very first attempt. I would highly recommend this training if you're preparing for Azure AI 102 certification. Now to the question. You are building a conversational language understanding model for a ticket purchasing system. The model includes an indent named Purchase and Send Tickets with the following example utterance. Purchase 3 audit business tickets to New York next Monday and send tickets to email at xyz.com. You need to assign the appropriate entity tabs to each labeled phrase in the utterance. The solution must use built-in entity tabs whenever possible to minimize the need for additional training data. Which entity tab should you use for each labeled phrase? Now the options are provided. First, let us break down the question. What are the keywords present in the question? So the question is regarding a conversational language understanding model. Now it is used to book ticket. Now an utterance is provided and there are labeled phrases in the utterance. The ones in the square brackets are the labeled phrases. Now we have to figure out which entity type each of these labeled phrases should use. That is a question. Now the entity types are email, list, regex, geography v2, machine learned. So first of all, what is conversational language understanding model? So it is a feature offered by Azure AI Language Service, and as the name suggests, it is a conversational model like a chatbot. So you can provide an utterance to the model or an instruction to the model like purchase 2 tickets to New York or buy a pizza, and the model is supposed to do that. So that is what is a CLU model in this context is. Now let us see what utterance and entity is. Let's get into the documentation. So first it is utterance. So utterance is the input or the instruction given to the model. For example, book a ticket to Paris for me. That is the utterance. The whole instruction given to the model is called utterance. Or buy a pepperoni pizza for me. So that is the utterance. Now intent is the action the model is supposed to perform. For example, if the utterance is book a flight for New York, the intent is book flight. The action is called the intent. So what is the weather in Boston? So the intent is check weather. Now about entities. So entities are extracted from the utterance and is essential to complete the user's required action. So for an example, if the utterance is I want to order a small pizza, the intent or the action is order pizza and the entity is small. Turn off bedroom light. The intent is turn off and the entity is bedroom. So for example, we can say that entity is where the indent is to be performed. That is entity. So here check balance in my savings account. So check balance is the indent and it has to be done on savings account with this number. Buy tickets to where? So to New York. And how many? 3. So that is the entity. And there are various entity types in a provided indent. So here we can see various entity types. Now what is our utterance? Our utterance is purchase 3 audit business tickets to New York next Monday and send tickets to this email. And here the labeled phrases are entities. So they have already told that the labeled phrases are entities and we have to figure out which entity is each of these phrases. Now back to the documentation. So there are list entities and in the question they have also told that if possible we have to select pre-built entities to minimize the need for additional training data. So if possible we have to use built-in entities. So these are the various types of entities and here we can see pre-built entities which is already present in the model. No training is needed. So if we go to this URL, you can see all the details about pre-built entities. So these are all the pre-built entities present in the model. So here there is email entity. in pre-built entity. Email pre-built entity. So it is for identifying emails in the utterance. So back to the question, for identifying email, we can use the email entity type. So for email, the correct answer is email pre-built entity. Now there is New York. So which entity type should we use for New York? Is there anything here? Date, time, dimension, then here there is geography V2. So if we go to geography V2 pre-built entity, it's very clear. It's for identifying places and location like Texas, continent, country, city. So that is what geography V2 entity is used for. So for New York, we can use geography V2. So next labeled phrase in the question is pre-audit business. Which entity should we use? So going back into the documentation, here in machine learned entity, so it is not a pre-built entity. It is a custom entity. We have to train the model with the entity. So here machine learned entity is used to identify data that isn't always well formatted but have the same meaning. So it's used for data which is not very well formatted but has the same meaning. So here the three ordered business, it can change. The utterance can be purchase 2 business class tickets to, or it can be purchase 2 window seat tickets to. So this phrase can change accordingly. So it is better to choose machine learned entity to train the model instead of pre-built entity. So here there are no pre-built entity fitting the scenario. Although there is a number entity present for numbers, it's exclusively for numbers. But a machine learned entity is better to identify data that isn't always well formatted but has the same meaning. So for this phrase, we can use a machine learned entity. Now the correct answer is for New York, we have to use geography V2. For email at xyz.com, we have to use email. And for 3 audit business, we have to use machine learned identity. Now I'll provide the link to the documentation in the description box. Thank you.